Welcome to Supernaut, where we explore the inner and outer dimensions of the self. Today, I have on Ryan Gunderson. Ryan truly inspires me more than anyone else I know to be a happier and more present person. So hopefully we can get some insight on how he does it. I asked you to pick a song for us to listen to before we started. What song did you pick?
Yeah, I picked Here's to Hometowns by Nate Smith.
I
Yeah.
had never heard it before. It was
Okay.
so refreshing, so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I would say that it's the most underrated song, but that'd probably just cause an argument with everybody that listens. But no, a song that definitely like hits you in your heartstrings or whatever. And yeah, the reason I picked it is because I know for a fact I wouldn't be the same person I am today if I didn't grow up where I did, or wasn't a part of this community or whatnot or whatever. I wouldn't be here, regardless to say. So yeah, that's why I picked it.
When I was in high school, the last couple of years, like all I could think about was moving away. That's all me and my friends talked about. But it was like my senior year that I was like, I don't know if I want to. Like, I actually like it here because I am who I am because of this place.
Yeah,
So, did you ever think about moving away, or were you like, I love it here?
yeah. Yes and no. So definitely thought about it. Obviously I got away when I went to college and whatnot or whatever, but I just knew that it was a special place. Just even as I was growing up and whatnot. And for whatever reason, I don't know if people from other communities have this, but it's like so many people are connected to Mora. You
Mm,
run into just some random people, who
mm,
knows where you are, and then
mm-hmm,
you say, where are you from? And you say Mora or whatever, and then some way somehow they're like almost related to it. It's
mm-hmm.
insane. And obviously people say, it's actually a small world. But at the same time, I don't know. I think that there's some like, kind of crazy podunk towns that nobody knows of and, nobody's from or whatever. And I don't know. That more is just a interesting environment that, yeah, I feel super, super fortunate to grow up in.
You're right. It's almost like it's a famous small town.
Yeah.
I mean, because of the Vasaloppet, of
Yeah.
course, and it's just right in between Duluth and the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
And so people have to go through it to get a lot of places. And one time I was in Mexico with Katie Joe, and we met these older guys, and I don't know where they were from, not Minnesota, but they were saying that they knew Mora. They're like, yeah, we go to Duluth, we know Mora. And we did not believe them. And they're like, yeah, you have a Hardee's and an American Inn. And we're like, oh. Like, and they're not Googling on their phone underneath.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess you do know. Like,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah, and I've ran into so many instances, like even in like traveling, like you said, or
Mm,
whatever, where it's like, I know that person,
yeah.
or like, I've told, both you and Veda that the goal every year at the state fair is to see somebody that I know. And
Mm,
you always do. And how many people go there? It's
mhm.
like, I mean, I don't even know. Is it like 200,000? There's like the record breaking days, there's like a couple 100,000 people. And I'm one of those people that tries to pick out someone that I know and tries to be observant or whatever, and I always do. It
Mhm.
it never fails.
Mm.
What'd you come up with, Veda?
137,000.
137,000, and I
That's
can find
crazy.
one of those people that's actually from Mora.
Last summer when I went, the day before I worked in the food truck
Uh-huh.
at an event in Isle,
Okay.
and this kid came up twice. He was like maybe 25. And so I recognized him only because he had came up twice and I served him. Next day, saw him at the state fair. I was like, hey, I know you. And he was like, yeah, the potato.
Yeah.
So that was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've ran on people other years. Not maybe every time I've gone, but yeah, I should make that a goal too.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of a fun thing, and then it's like obviously you're looking for the new food and whatever
Mm.
else the state fair offers and stuff, but it kind of just it's almost like a treasure hunt. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just makes it a little bit more unique. But obviously, it could get tiresome because you look at so many faces. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, such a feel good song. I loved the strawberry wine reference in there that like pulled it all together. And you're a huge fan of music anyways. One time you said, I think music can easily say things that I have difficulty putting into words,
yeah,
like emotion and meaning.
definitely. Like if I listen to a song for instance like that one, it almost like brings me back to like this nostalgic moment or whatever the case is, and I can picture myself in like the different experiences that I've had or whatever, and the things that make me happy, make me smile or whatever, and then like for whatever reason, I don't know why, it's like this unconscious thing that when that song plays or a song of that nature, it's like I want to drive really fast, because it's just like this is so awesome and you're just jamming out and you just want to see how fast the vehicle can go, or whatever,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
terrible. I'm not
yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
not saying that that's a good thing to do, but yeah.
I've
Yeah.
gotten 2 speeding tickets to the song Rock Superstar by Cypress Hill. Do you know
Okay.
that song?
I don't,
I'll
I'm
have to
sorry.
send it to you. But yeah, I'm like, I can't listen to this while I'm driving because it makes me want to speed.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just a true blue instance that, you know, it's something that I can't explain. It's just like unconscious that it makes me want to do that.
Mm,
But I can't even pinpoint exactly what in the song it
yeah,
is, but yeah, it has
yeah.
that effect on me. So,
Because I think I'm more of a melody and instrument person. You're
okay.
more of a words person, I think
Definitely.
we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll love a song and I like don't even know what they're
Yeah.
saying. But it makes me feel that
Yeah.
feeling.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, which is no harm, that the difference between
yeah.
the two types of people or whatever and stuff. I don't know. I just feel fortunate that I can listen
Mm-hmm.
for the lyrics to see exactly what the song is saying and
Mm-hmm.
like, how they're portraying it and whatnot. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I for one could sing and for one could write music because I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be a super cool thing to do. I've listened to a bunch of like songwriters that live in Nashville or whatever, and it sounds like such a cool group when they're like talking about experience, and then that just stems into just like such a cool song, and then you're on the back end listening to it, and then you get to listen how they created it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of a neat thing.
Did you try singing in high school?
I mean, obviously, I was in like band and choir and
Yeah.
whatnot, but yeah, just
But you don't have it? Because somebody just told me, Jackson from Mora, who's a artist, he
okay,
plays at different places. He said that everybody can sing. They just have to find what type of genre
okay, that suits them. Yeah,
suits their voice.
yeah,
So,
yeah, I could see that.
hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely a singer in the car type of person,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah,
have you ever tried writing, like sitting down and
no,
just,
I should.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that'd be
that'd be
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then if I'm going that far, I might as well learn to play the guitar too. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Never too late to learn. Um, okay. So I want people to understand what type of person you are right away.
Okay.
So I want to bring up airports right away.
Yeah.
Can you tell us why you love airports?
Yeah, so I just think it's like this VIP club that you can't get into unless you have a ticket. So it's like this experience that is completely exclusive to the people that have paid to be there. Well, I mean, I guess if you're TSA or, the people that work in the food court or whatever, that's a different deal. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that it's such a interesting environment because, I mean, there's people from all walks of life. Somebody could be flying economy or first class or whatever the case is, and they might not even be from the city that you're flying out of. They might have a connecting flight or wherever, and it's just such an interesting thing to see how people react to each other, where they sit, how they try to, do this, do that. People that are just completely oblivious to the world and they just, walk a straight line and make everybody else move, or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's super cool, and it kind of gives you the opportunity to run into people that you wouldn't normally or sometimes normally. So, yeah,
Do you also look for people there that you might know?
100%. Yes.
And then do you, I think you maybe just like introduce yourself to people or start a conversation
Yeah.
out?
Yep. I've done that a ton of times or whatever. Usually or it's a lot easier when it's the person sitting next to you because I mean you're stuck next to each other, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I maybe could be a little pushy when I'm asking questions or whatever, but I try it with the most pure intention. But yeah, I mean, I had this connecting flight once on a work trip, and I was sitting next to this gal that was probably like in her mid 40s. She had 2 young kids, and she was super nice, and I don't know. It was just interesting because I just kind of got her life story. The flight was like 45 minutes long, and kind of got to talk to her about what her viewpoints were and what mine were, and she was a good conversationalist or whatever. And I mean, realistically, probably I'll never see. I don't even remember the gal's name, unfortunately, which I'm usually pretty good with that. But yeah, I mean, someone I'll probably never see again, and she could have filled me completely full of BS, that she has 2 kids. I mean,
Yeah.
she could have been from who knows where, but she gave me a story that, yeah, she was, this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know, I just think it was fun. I think it was hopefully a refreshing conversation for her, just to, get somebody else's perspective. She was from like Arkansas or whatever. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've asked you that before. Do you ever pretend to be somebody else's? You can just,
Yeah,
play
yeah, I
a
know,
part.
and yeah, we had talked about that, and I definitely need to find like a what do you call that? Like a
Like a
facade. Yeah,
persona.
yeah, a
Yeah.
persona that I can put on, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Practice
exactly,
being the same person all the time.
exactly,
And
yeah.
yeah.
That would be a hilarious skit, and then yeah, see
Then you run into them someplace else and they're like, Tyler, Jacob, whatever your name is. And you're
exactly,
like with
yeah.
your wife and you're like, oh, I'm just weird. I'll tell you later. Just play along.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, you go on vacation somewhere and you do that on the way down there, and then they're
Yeah.
on the same flight back. I mean,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how crazy would that be? But
Because
yeah.
we just proved that it's a small world.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that is a way that you inspire me because when I go to airports, I'm just kind of like head down, like just kind of want to sleep because I sleep really well on
Okay.
airplanes.
Yeah.
I can even sleep sitting up in the room waiting to take off. But I wish I had that zest for life of like meeting the people
Yeah.
like
I
you
mean,
do. So,
and realistically, even if you just said hi or smiled at somebody, you could
mhm.
brighten their day because they could have just lost their luggage, or had
Or they're
some.
on their way home to a funeral.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where, I mean, it's not like you have to or whatever, but it's kind of a fun thing to do if you have the want, there. So yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. So, do you think people reveal more about themselves, like knowing that they'll never see you
Oh
again, and vice
man,
versa?
that's a good question. Yeah, I suppose that probably would be the case. I can't say. I mean, it's hard to judge because
Yeah.
I don't know this person. Maybe they would just puke their
Yeah.
whole life onto you, or maybe they
Yeah.
they don't. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is a good point. It would be an interesting experiment to like completely overshare with someone, and just tell them like details and facts about your life that you wouldn't typically, but just to see their reaction,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to try that sometime.
Yeah. Do you have any memorable airport moments?
The one time I was actually in Washington D.C., I went on a youth troop brewer down there, and did I just say that wrong? But
Yeah.
anyways, uh, and I was with it was through like the Minnesota Electric Association, so it was all the power cooperatives. They sent
Mm.
kids, so there was people from all corners of the state, and we were leaving Washington D.C. to come back. And there was somebody in the airport, and I'm really good at remembering faces and typically names as well. But on this certain instance, it was just a face. And I was convinced that I knew this person. And so I told everyone, I'm like, I know this person. They're like, yeah, right. They were giving me the whole spiel and stuff. And I'm like, watch this. And I walked over to him, and here it was Rick Matson. He's on the Dollars for Scholars board. He moved
Mm.
up here and whatnot or whatever. And yeah, I BS'd with him a little bit, and I said, I recognize you. You're from Mora, aren't you? And he's like, yes, I am. And yeah, it was just such a
Mm.
cool interaction. And then it was twice as good because then I got to walk back
Yeah.
and prove to them I
Yeah.
knew who I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Throw it in their face.
Yeah. So
So,
yeah.
yeah, cool. Do you think that like those are chance encounters, or do you think that like the people that you've met are like crossing your path for a reason?
That's a good question. I never even thought about it in that instance. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. Yeah, maybe there is purpose behind it. Maybe, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I guess maybe I just never know the reason why that I
Mhm.
bump into certain people that I actually do.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think there could be, and I don't know. I hope that the way that I come off as, happy go lucky,
Mm. Mm.
always glad to see someone because
Mhm.
99% of the time I typically am or whatever. So yeah, maybe it was something on their end where it's just like, I'm really glad
Mm,
that, he came over and said hi, or,
mm,
whatever the case is. But
mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Well, just don't be like this guy. The worst thing I ever saw on a plane was this guy says to the flight attendant, he like shows her a map and goes, "Yeah, one time I was on a plane crash and I was in the middle of the whatever sea for like 7 hours and like one more hour and we all would have froze to death, but like we got saved." And he's like showing her on a map and she's like, "Okay." Like this is what I do for a living. I don't want to
What?
like think about that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, statistically though, you're safer flying somewhere than you are driving, or
Yeah.
you're more likely to get in an accident driving than you are flying. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, people
I
definitely
was
do
like,
not
just don't,
realize that.
just keep
Yeah,
that to yourself.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Super wild.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, cool. So I can't remember why you brought this up the other day, but you said embarrassment is an untapped emotion.
Yeah. It was something that, yeah, I don't remember the conversation we were having, but it's one of those things where it's like people are scared to do certain
Maybe it
things.
was about coming on here too.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what
Yeah.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's cameras and, light shining on us and, it is a one-on-one conversation, but it's like if you could just exclude all of that, this is
Mm,
just
mm-hmm.
it's just like if I sat down at your desk and we were just shooting the breeze, or whatever the case is. So, I don't know. Sometimes it's like I think people make it out to be way more than it is
Mm-hmm.
because there's no pressure behind it. Like the way that you start every single
Mm-hmm.
podcast. If you don't like it, we can cut it out. If
Mm-hmm.
this is something you didn't want to say or you want to, redo the question, let's just do that. But it's like you get in your head so much and then it's like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that I'm going to rewatch this and say, oh, I should have said that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, why does that matter? You're
Yeah.
learning, which is a good
Yeah.
thing.
Growing.
And I mean, even if I do embarrass myself, hopefully somebody gets a laugh out of it. It's like I don't know. So that's the way that I've kind of tried to approach the majority of everything. Is that it's like I really don't want to do this, but what's the worst that could happen? And if I do something that I feel like I shouldn't have, I'm gonna learn from it, and then I'll just do it better the next time. So I don't know. It's easy for me to say that, but I always feel like I'm the one to try and make the funny joke even though it might not
Mm,
land.
mm,
And if
mm-hmm.
nobody laughs, well, that's fine, then
Mm-hmm.
throw that one in the trash and try and roll up a new one. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like if you're at a wedding, and you go make a fool of yourself out on the dance floor, everybody's smiling at you anyways, even though
Yeah.
you don't know how to dance in the first place, or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like I just think that it's something that it's easy because it keeps things light and you shouldn't take life too seriously.
Right.
So
Yeah, I used to tell myself all the time that don't take life so seriously. And that is reminding me that like in high school, I remember I would just make fun of myself first.
yeah.
And I was just always okay with embarrassment because like whatever.
Uh-huh.
People always are embarrassed. So
Yeah.
but I was thinking about it evolutionary wise, like I suppose embarrassment is still here for a reason. Everything that we still have as humans has made it this far for a reason.
Uh-huh.
So I mean embarrassment can be good in some ways, like so that you're not stripping down and running down Main Street, or like
Yeah.
that you're taking social cues seriously. I mean, so not everybody does that. I
True.
mean, we all have people in our lives that were like, okay, they don't understand social cues. People probably think that about me a lot. But yeah, so it's just really interesting to think about. And then it's made me start thinking about emotions in general. Like, we should question all of our emotions. Like, why is this here? And what is it? Like, with meditating, a lot of people get bored, but are you actually bored? Or
Uh-huh.
are you, like, question it. Are you angry? Are you lonely?
Yeah.
Like, what's actually happening? Is it anxiety? So I just really liked when you brought that up the other day because
Yeah.
we should, like, stay in check with our emotions,
Yeah, exactly. And
question them.
it's easy for me, or like if we relate it back to Sherman life, or whatever the case is, it's like so if I was to lead the morning meeting for you or
Mm-hmm.
Mazer, I don't know all of the guys personally, and I might not have the respect or whatever the case is,
Mhm.
and it's like, but who cares? Just take that out of the thing, and as long as I have, if as long as I have the confidence in what I'm saying, or even if I
Mhm.
don't, and I just say, oh, you're right, thanks for pointing that out, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's something that we'll just all learn from and stuff, and it's like you could be a nervous wreck before that, but then at the same time it's like, why?
Yeah.
What is the worst that's going to happen? Nobody's going to kill you, nobody's going to throw rocks
A
at
year
you.
later, like nobody's gonna be like, "Do you remember that time?" Like
Exactly.
nobody remembers. People are just thinking about themselves.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like said once where it's like, you're not that important.
Yeah.
People
Right.
aren't thinking
Right.
about
People
you.
don't care about you as much as you think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Once the guys leave the morning meeting, they're thinking about what energy drink they're going to buy at the gas station 5 minutes from now.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
one of those things. So, yeah.
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 My first standing up in front of everybody's speech, I mean, I blacked out. I don't really remember it, but I had a couple people tell me, like, that really inspired me to try harder things.
Yeah.
And because I made everybody do a one on one with me after that. And yeah, I mean, I got a lot of positive feedback. And I went home and like cried later that day, like,
Okay.
just got it all out. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of feelings come up from doing those hard things, but now I'm speaking on a podcast. And if I
Exactly.
hadn't made those steps, I know I could not be here right now.
Uh huh. Yeah. And then there's a quote by Harvey Specter from the show Suits or whatever, and I think it was like, confidence isn't walking in the room and seeing, who else is there. It's
Mm.
confidence is walking in the room and knowing that you're confident in your. No, I'm totally butchering that. It's something along the lines where it's like, no, I need to believe in myself
Mm.
versus, who am I trying to impress type of deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, try and impress yourself. Like, do it for
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
not other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I've heard stuff along those lines too. That's super cool. Um, okay, so I saw a TikTok once that it said, imagine there is a dinner date competition. Everyone is competing for the best overall dinner date. Not romantic, just two people getting dinner, and you have to choose one person that would win this competition. It's 1 hour long. You have no information about who the other person is, like their age, politics, interests. So you have to send your best bet. So who pops in your head? And I thought of you right away. And I picked you because you're so curious. I knew that the guest across the table from you would feel so heard and seen and appreciated. But also you are so authentic, and your view on everything is authentic. Like, I don't think anybody's ever told you something that like you're just going to believe. I think that you thoroughly think everything through. So that's why I think you would be such an interesting guest and such a good listener. Like, so my question is, are you naturally this curious as you are?
yeah, yeah, 100%. Well, first of all, thank you. And I appreciated when you had told me that I would be your pick, and I was kind of surprised by that. But yeah, I am 100% curious, and I don't really know, what it stems back to. My dad is a super good conversationalist, and so is my mom. So maybe that kind of falls in line. But I guess just in all reality, it's like one of those things where I just try to appreciate and try and understand as much as possible so that I can just kind of keep learning about things. And then
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know, it's almost like the picture keeps getting, bigger
Mm.
or more broad, where you start to fill in these little spots that weren't as familiar as before. And then yeah, you might run into a person that their viewpoint is completely different than what you've ever heard. But then 5 years down the line, you've met 10 more people that are like that. So, that
Mm.
isn't as like taboo or out of the
Mm.
ordinary and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. And honestly, I just like talking to people. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just, to me, it's super interesting to see what has happened in their life to make them who they are today.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always kind of thought that the world's like a ginormous clock, and we're all one of like the gears, or whatever the case
Mm.
is. And it's like, if you didn't come to work, this couldn't happen or that couldn't happen or you know, whatever the case is. So I just kind of try to connect all the dots and
Like
see.
we're this geometric puzzle that like everybody needs everybody and we're all connected kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess I just always think of the world spinning round.
Yeah.
So then that's why my mind always goes to a clock where it's like,
Mhm.
you know, the internal is everything is rotating at, you know, different speeds and, you know, different sizes or whatever. So yeah, it's like, I mean, you know, use COVID as an example where it's like these people weren't working, so this couldn't happen.
Mhm.
And, you know, I mean, it just like, you know, all the chain of everything broke down so bad that it's like, I'm not saying you're an essential worker because we're all essential. You know, I think
Mhm.
that that's kind of crazy that they deemed that because, I mean, I think that there's so many people out there that are essential. I mean, the person that picks up your trash every day, or the, you know, the person that, you know, feeds the, or the cook at the school that feeds your children when you're
Mhm.
not there, or, you know, it's
Mhm.
just like all of that stuff is essential. It needs to happen because if it doesn't, I don't know how else it's going to get done. I don't
Mhm.
want to do it. You know, I got
Mhm.
enough stuff going on, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So,
So naturally curious. But is there ever any days where like you're off and then you feel like you have to keep being curious? Is there any days where it's not authentic?
no, I'm like, actually, let's give myself the benefit of the doubt. Let's say 2 days a year. There,
Oh my
that, yeah.
god.
I don't know. You know, there's some of those times where it's just like, yeah, you're just dragging, and all you want to do is just watch a movie and take a nap or whatever.
Yeah,
But
two
yeah,
days a year. I have like 2 days a week like that. Oh, that's great.
yeah.
That's great. I would
But
like to study your brain.
I also drink ridiculous amounts of caffeine, so
Oh,
that might
okay.
not
Yeah, yeah,
help
yeah.
either. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Remember when I found out you drank a Mountain Dew for breakfast and I was so blown away? Because you just didn't seem like the person to me that
Okay.
would drink
Yeah.
Mountain Dew for
Yeah.
breakfast.
Well,
I don't know why.
breaking
But
stereotypes. That's all right.
yeah. Yeah, right. Exactly. I learned so much at that point. Yeah. Huh. Super interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and so another thing about you is how much you love farming, and
Yeah.
you got your family, like, so your family wasn't farmers, but you convinced them in high school
Yeah.
to start farming.
Yeah. So my grandpa was a dairy farmer, but by the time I was in high school, he was like almost 90 years old.
Mm.
So he had sold the farm and, you know, kind of just turned into a retired life and whatnot. And it was something that I'd always had a passion for. I think since I was 3 years old, I've told everybody I
Mhm.
want to be a farmer and stuff. So something I dove headfirst into. So I started walking across the field to my neighbor's house that had a cattle farm and
At
telling
what age?
seventh. Well, I guess I was going over there sooner than seventh grade, so I would have been like 13, 14. I'm not 100% sure. Does that sound right?
12.
Okay, 12. Yeah. So I started going over there, and then I started showing cattle in the 4-H here in Kennebec County in eighth
You
grade.
stole some of their cows
No,
and brought
no.
them over?
I made a deal that if I worked for him during the summer, that would pay for all the feed, and then he would give me the calf. I would show it in the fair, and then when I sold it, I would pay him back, and then maybe there'd be a couple bucks left over.
Wow.
So yeah, which was an amazing opportunity. And then I think for my 16th birthday, my parents bought me my first heifer, and
Mm.
from there I grew and shrunk and whatnot. And then my wife grew up on a cattle farm or whatever, so she's always had that, and you know, kind of got to tap into their resources as well. And yeah, now we have 50 cows, and yeah, trying to build up as big as possible. So
I think kids that have a passion from such a young age like that are the coolest kids out there. I wish I was that passionate about something, especially from that young of an age. I
yeah,
mean, that's so great.
yeah, and so I guess it kind of all relates back to as a kid, I hated being bored,
Mhm.
like just absolutely despised it because like we had, you know, bikes and all of that stuff and a swing, and but I convinced myself there's only so much time you can ride a bike or swing on a swing before
Mhm.
you do get bored because it's
Mhm.
just the exact same thing. And so I love the idea about being a farmer because you're always busy. And busy is a bad term. I think you always have purpose, and that's something that I really like. And you're always looking towards the future and trying to, make things better or more efficient, or streamline a process, or once you have this figured out, now you're going over here, and there's like a lot of problems to figure out. So I think that it's just like such a unique lifestyle and such a cool thing, because you're like, the way that we're doing it with the beef cattle is that they're utilizing land that basically is just recreational or hunting land. They take the summer and go out onto this pasture that can't be farmed or can't be used in any other way, and they turn that into a product that everybody wants to eat on a daily basis. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then I love feeding cows, so winter is absolutely amazing. So yeah.
I bottle fed some calves for a winter, and that was not amazing because I don't like being outside. But it was really cute. I mean, it was sweet.
Yeah.
There's good parts to it, but it
Yeah.
was just a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Or I would have liked it if it wasn't cold. And like,
okay.
are they only that age in the winter?
Well, it depends on what kind of bottle were they Holstein, so they're black and white,
I think
maybe?
so.
Okay. So usually like a dairy farmer has calves year round.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
could get some today, you could get some
Mm.
in June. It just really depends. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did your siblings feel about it?
Honestly, it was something that they really just didn't have a passion for or whatever. I think they thought it was cool, and
Yeah.
like my older brothers were probably just glad that I was out of their hair, and yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe they planted this idea in your head without you knowing. They
that's
incepted you.
that's
Have you
true.
seen Inception, the movie with
Yes,
Leo?
yes, I
Okay.
have. Yeah, I never even thought about it in that instance. Huh? Maybe, yeah.
Oh, that'd
No,
be
they
great.
they were very supportive, and just
Mm-hmm.
super happy for me that I could get into something that I love doing, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, feel incredibly fortunate for it. So.
Do you find more peace out there or purpose?
Both. It definitely comes with this, like, it's trials and tribulations. There's hard times, there's hard decisions. But I don't know. I just think that there's something so beautiful and unique about it that you're working alongside an animal. It's not that they're working for you; it's you're working together for the
Mm-hmm.
same goal. And I don't know. I've had instances before where it's like the cow knew,
Mm-hmm.
she knew that, like, she had a limp, so I needed to give her antibiotics. So, but I didn't have a facility to do something with her at the location she was. But then all of a sudden, when I came with the cattle trailer, she was somewhere near, and she hopped right in and took off, and it was like that was way too good to be true. It was almost like it was meant to be, that she
Mm-hmm.
knew what I was thinking even before I thought it, or whatever the case is. So
Well, I wonder what came first, because when I said in the beginning that you inspire me to be present, it's because when you're talking to people, when you're walking by, and maybe even when you're in a rush, but Derek or anybody at work stops and asks you something, or you'll even stop and ask them something, and you're so in it, you're making eye contact, you're paying attention, you're listening, where I'm the kind of person that sometimes I'm just like, I'm in a hurry, that's all I can think about, like,
yeah,
so I wonder which came first, because you're probably so good with the animals because you're so curious about humans that you've learned all of these things about humans, like the way that they move and interact, and the
yeah,
things that they don't say. What's the word I'm looking for? But then with animals, you can like tune into all of that as well. Do you know
yeah.
which came first?
No,
Because I bet they're really connected.
yeah, that is a good observation. And I guess I don't hardly notice that I do that, but I guess I do. Yeah. I don't know. I guess when it comes to when I'm walking by and I talk, or whatever the case is, I just always feel like I don't really get to see those people all that often. And even though I'm in a rush, the next time I see them, they're probably going to be in a rush. So I'm not going to
Mm,
have the opportunity to say hi, or, to ask about their weekend, or whatever the case is. So I don't know. It's almost like, why not just take the time now? Because yeah, I just
mhm,
want to be present when I'm with those people, if that makes
mhm. But
sense.
you're obviously so present with the animals too, like
Yeah.
that you can read their minds, or they can read yours, or
Yeah. And I
that's
don't
so
know,
great.
it's maybe just because I love working
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
so then that's why it's like it just comes natural, where like for instance, if you're trying to move cattle from one place to another and something, they're running circles or, something's going haywire that they won't go through the gate that you want them to. It's for a reason. So now we
Mm,
just have to pause because tensions are high and everything's, kind of stressful and
mm.
stuff. But they don't want to go there because it's like, well, this is weird. It's like you're pointing me in this direction, but you want me to turn this way,
Like they might know of a snake, a family of snakes that is like
Yeah.
burrowed under the ground over there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Just something super,
yeah.
super out of the ordinary. And it's like, if you just force them, then you turn
Hmm.
their flight or fight response on, and then somebody's either going to get hurt, either you or them. And it's like, okay, let's just take 5 seconds to just
Mm,
calm for a second. And, that's the other thing that's super unique about animals and, cattle is that they can sense what your like
mm,
emotion is. So if you're all bent out of shape, they're going to be bent out of shape as well.
mhm.
So I don't know. I think that that's just the one really cool thing, and I maybe just have like a mutual respect for them, So
Yeah.
I want them to treat me how I want to be treated. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, you're able to slow down and tap into their intuition
yeah,
almost like it's yours. That's
yeah.
so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, so that was one of my questions. Does the connection to animals change how you see your connection with humans or your human connection?
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those things where it's like it's a team effort, and you have to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Otherwise, it's like the goal or the plan isn't going to work out.
Hmm.
So and then I guess I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes to see like, okay, what I just told that person to do, did that make sense? And then all of a sudden, it's like I did not explain myself at all to
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to revert back and say, here's what I want you to do. And then, okay, now can you say it back to me so that
Yes,
you
yep.
understand,
That's proper
yeah,
communication.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So yeah,
And then
just,
why you do it too. Like, that's great that you communicate that way because I know that's happened a few times where, I've asked people to do something, but I understand later, oh, they didn't get that done because I didn't explain why, because they thought, oh, if I cut this corner. And that's happened to me too. Or
yeah,
like, people have asked me to do something and then I cut the corners. But if they would have told me why they wanted me to do
yeah.
it, then I would have known, oh, that's why you can't. Has
Uh-huh.
that happened to you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then I think that, each day I take more and more responsibility or ownership over the things that are like tasks for me or the people that are assigned to me or whatever the case is to get done. And if they didn't get it done correctly, it still falls back
Mm,
on me.
mm-hmm.
So then I need to figure out how I can relay the message in a way that, for one is understanding, but then for two has a sense of like urgency or has a timeline to it so that it gets done according to, what
Mm,
needs to happen. So yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's something I really enjoy, and it's something that I definitely have to work on because, sometimes it's just like, oh, perfect, you're gonna get that done, thanks, and then I hang up, and then all of a sudden it's like, I didn't tell him that it has to be done, or
Mm,
whatever the case is. But yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll all just keep evolving in our communication if we try.
yeah, and that's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
goal. It's just to
Mm-hmm.
constantly be working on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
just always figuring out different things that you could improve on, even if it's just 1% or a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
it's always better to be better tomorrow than you were today. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if everybody thinks that way, but I definitely, that's why I'm here,
Yeah.
is to keep getting better
Yeah.
at whatever I'm feeling like getting better at that day.
Yeah.
So I've heard you say a couple times that you're cursed with your smile.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
listeners, Ryan has the biggest smile, and not just that, but you're smiling all the time.
Yeah.
So at what age did you start saying that? Like, how long have you been this happy for?
Yeah. My entire life I've been this happy. Well, maybe there was a time period like in my teens that I was kind of rebellious, to
Mm.
my mom and my parents or whatever, but yeah, I definitely have been this happy for a long time. Cursed with a smile, when did I come up with that? I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, something like that. Yeah, I don't know why. It just popped into my head, and that's kind of. I mean, you know me well enough that I try to say things that aren't out, that aren't ordinary. And I just think that kind of is like the spice of life or whatever, is just to, what did you just say? It just like
Yeah.
makes people turn their head for no reason and stuff. Like, ran or one of our guys was just leaving, and I'm like, okay, drive fast, take chances, and he just like looks at me, he's like,
Who says that?
yeah,
I love
exactly,
that
yeah.
though.
I stole that from a comedy bit from back in the 2000s or whatever, but yeah, it's
Oh,
just
that's
like,
great.
goofy things like that
Mhm.
just kind of make people laugh, make people smile, and I don't
Well,
know.
get people out of the matrix, because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not something people say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things too where it's like we spend so much time at work, so why not make it fun? Why not
Mhm.
appreciate the place that you get paid for,
Mhm.
So,
You're
and
there more than you're anywhere else.
exactly. So, it's one of those things where I definitely probably need to tone it down in the morning, because it'll be 6 a.m. and
No,
I'll
don't
be
listen to Brad.
yeah.
He said that you're too chipper in the morning or something,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, no, always been this happy, that's for sure. And yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I just have a resting smile, which is completely different than most people, which I don't know why, but
Yeah. Well, I haven't met any of your family, but I sent them all messages last week, and just by how they responded, I was like, oh, I think everybody in this family is that happy. Is that true?
yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I mean, we all definitely have a good time, and I don't know. I like to say that uh I have a set of parents that I don't deserve, blessed
Mm,
with a set of parents that I don't deserve, just because I had an amazing childhood, and, was given opportunities that other kids weren't. And, just the constant love and commitment that they've made to us, and the constant help that they always give to us and stuff. And they're not afraid to drop everything at the blink of an eye just to come help us, or do anything, and
mhm.
so I've felt incredibly blessed that in that instance. And I think that definitely rings true with my siblings as well. So yeah.
That's great. Well, the reason I wrote them is because I asked them to describe you.
Okay.
I asked you to pick 6 or 7 people that I could reach out to and ask to describe you.
Yep.
So you could have picked friends, family, coworkers, whoever, and you picked all close family. Was that a hard decision? Was it easy?
It was pretty easy. I like to joke with people that I don't have many friends or whatever, which is true. And then I usually say that in the office, and I say no offense to anyone that heard that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have too many friends. And
Well, when you have such a great family, you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. So
hmm
and I don't know. I think those are the people that know me the best.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
thought that those would probably be the right people for the job.
Yeah. Well, I like doing this because I think it's healthy for us to see how people see us. And my hope is that we can start seeing ourselves this way,
Yeah.
because we're always our worst critics. Um, it's hard to picture you not seeing the best in yourself because you're so likable. But do you have any guesses of how you were described? So I'm going to
Um.
give you your 5 top themes
Okay.
of how those people see you.
I don't know, like lighthearted maybe. I don't know if like curious would be one. Um, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I suspected curious because that's the number one adjective I would have for you. But yeah, told Veda I'm so excited how it turned out. Okay, so your first word is virtuous.
Okay.
A couple people said genuine, loyal. A couple people said humble. A couple people said generous, big-hearted, giving, considerate, trustworthy, blessed.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's a great first word,
Yeah.
virtuous.
No
Who
kidding.
doesn't want to be
Yeah.
virtuous? That's great. And the second one is driven.
Okay. Yep.
Couple people said determined, couple people hardworking, couple people resourceful. You're an executor, ambitious, confident, and bold.
Yeah. I really like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And then vibrant.
Okay.
3 said optimistic. Radiant, joyous, enthusiastic, fun, and a couple curious. We put curious under vibrant,
Okay.
or I did. And then 4 is approachable, not surprising. You're sociable, personable, easygoing. A couple people said outgoing, courteous, observant, and thoughtful.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And then worldly.
Okay.
which goes along with traveling, the airplane life. You're sophisticated, knowledgeable, and adventurous.
Huh. Yeah, I like that.
And then I had AI help me write a synopsis for you.
Okay.
You're the compass and the current, the kind of steady that still surprises, guiding others forward while reminding them to enjoy the ride. I think that's so you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, those were very, very nice. And yeah, I feel appreciative that everybody said those kind words. So yeah.
Yeah. So do you think, because yeah, optimistic was a big theme. Do you think people are born optimistic?
I don't know. I mean, maybe a little bit. I probably should just like not be so wishy-washy.
No, it's okay.
um
I think it's good to be in the middle. I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
good to
So
be even keel
yeah,
about
because I
things.
think that you could argue it either way and both could be correct, so then I think the middle ground is kind of the right thing. I think that you can lose faith in the world or humanity or whatever the case was. I the funny thing about the song is that I mean, you told me, or you had asked me, a long time ago to come on, and I've been thinking about what song to play, and there was 1,000 options
Mhm.
because I genuinely do love music, and a lot of the songs that I've heard that really ring true is it's like, if you listen to what's on the nightly news, it will make you think that the world is a bad place, or there is so many more bad people that outweigh the good people, but I don't know. It's just like, yeah, yeah, that's the type of thing that I want to stay away from or whatever. But I don't know. Optimism is unique because people can be optimistic about certain different things versus others, and I think that you could create a person that becomes an optimist. Even though they were like a pessimist in their previous,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
in their past. So yeah, that's a really difficult question to answer, but like for me, I would say that I was born an optimist just because I feel like I had a blessed childhood and I've always tried my best to see the best in people, and even though that there's bad things that happen and sometimes you might not understand why they happen, nor will you ever, it's just those things have to happen so that you can appreciate the really good things that happen. And
Mhm.
so it's like, even though I'm this happy go lucky person, it's not like I haven't had difficult times or whatever the case is. So yeah, I think that being optimistic is just like it's like a sail that keeps you moving forward
Mhm.
in, and you're trying to like grab people to put on your ship or whatever, or you're
Mhm.
just like trying to brighten people's day so that you can rub off on them a little bit almost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In those difficult times, do you think you're good at, like, when you're in the middle of it, of still being optimistic and being like, this is going to be okay?
Yeah, I would say that I've ran into instances where it was very difficult to try and find that, but I've become better and better at it, and now it just comes kind of second nature. And it's like pain is temporary, but
Mhm.
suffering is forever. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's
If
like
you want it to be, if you let it
exactly,
be. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So and then I don't know, it's like there's times in my life or people's lives that it's like you get down, or you aren't as excited or thrilled to do certain things or whatever. But I saw this clip on TikTok where it was Alex Hermosi and Chris Williamson, and he said it's like, what if your life is a movie and everybody's watching and they just intermission just happened? What would the people be screaming at the screen?
Mm,
Like,
that you should change.
exactly,
I heard that too.
like,
Yeah.
go, whatever. If it
Go
was,
back to college,
yeah,
or,
yeah,
take the
follow,
garbage out, drink the milk, whatever.
yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, go make a fool of yourself, or
Yeah.
whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So it's like I really find inspiration in TikTok, or in like the different quotes that people have, because it's like, the way you feel is normal. You know, people aren't that much different than each other. And although they might look like they have it all together, they definitely don't. And they're still working on it. The important thing is, like we said, is just to always try and keep being better, you know?
Yeah, because optimism is a something that you can build. It's a strength, and
Yeah.
it takes work, just like your muscles.
Yeah.
So yeah, in those hard moments, like in the middle of the hard moment, if the faster you can be like, okay, this is gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna die. And if somebody does die, I mean, it's nature. Like it's got to happen. Yeah, because I had heard, I forgot about this, but I'm pretty sure it was about optimism that you are born on a scale, on a spectrum, but you can change it up to 50%.
Okay.
I think it was before optimism was a big buzzword, so it was just probably positivity. But like, let's say you are at 2% positivity, but you can get up to 52 if you work at it. And then like me, and probably you, I think I was born at like 75%
Yeah.
optimistic.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard, so I'm like I'm pretty optimistic. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, yeah, I go through tough, difficult times too.
Mm-hmm.
But the other day, I was crying about something like pretty dramatically, because I do cry dramatically, and then I was like, okay, right now, think about like if this could be good. And at first my brain goes, no, this is never gonna be good. But I'm like, what if it was? Like, okay, it's gonna be good because it's not over, all those things. All of a sudden I couldn't tell if I was laughing or crying. And then I was laughing for like a while. Then I stopped and I calmed down and I breathed, and I swear to God, 2 minutes later, I saw the silver lining. I was like that I couldn't have imagined.
Yeah.
In the depths of my despair, I was unable to see any light
Yeah.
out of it. And I mean, it was just something stupid. It was just somebody turned down an idea I had or something. You know what I mean? Like, but I get really emotional about that stuff. But then I was like, wait, this just means I can do this instead. Oh my gosh, I can turn this around. And I think I'll always remember that moment.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I really like that. And I have like this kind of unique I don't even know, like personality is maybe the best way to describe it, where it's like, I mean, I can let something go like in the blink of an eye, where it's like I'm dead set, we're gonna do this or whatever, and then all of a sudden the consensus is no, we're not gonna, and it was like that was what my plan was for months and months and months, and it's just like, okay, whatever, and then we just move on to the next thing. And like to some people, like even my wife, she is like, how can you do that? Like, aren't you upset? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of bummed out or whatever, but I guess
Are you sure you're not suppressing it though?
I don't know. I don't think so, because
Right?
it's like none of that stuff is life or death. And I don't know. Then it always goes back to the idea where it's like, well, what if I went and did that and it really sucked, and then I didn't get to go do this and something really cool happened,
right?
So then I don't know. It's like
Right?
you can convince yourself every single way that
Yeah.
even though that didn't happen, it's not that big of a deal.
If you practice hard enough, remembering to do that, to pause and stop and be like, okay, right, I didn't want to go that direction, but if we go this direction, I might find $100 bill on the ground, or I might meet somebody that I've always wanted to meet, or I might get the chance to save a cat from a tree. Who knows?
Yeah.
It might be something life-changing. And I think God rewards us with blessings and good moments like that when we can pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anything to add, Veda? Or any questions so far? Jump in anytime. Got the mic ready.
I really don't have any questions.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Can
that's okay.
you go with the flow, Veda?
I'm working on it. I need like Ryan revelations in my pocket.
Oh
for
my
when I'm, like, having a bad
gosh,
day.
yeah.
Well, I was thinking you should write a book about all your airport experiences.
Yeah.
So, like, even if it's just for yourself to look back on someday.
Yeah.
But Ryan Revelations, like, now you have to write a book. I
Like little
love
flashcards.
that. Yeah, right? Ryan Revelations to get us all to be more naturally optimistic without trying.
Seriously.
Okay, we're going to call you to it. Oh, that's so great.
Oh, man.
So your favorite movie of all time, I feel like, of all time, right?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
Is Interstate 60.
Yes.
And I watched it a few months ago and like instantly had to pull out my my notebook after maybe 10 minutes because I'm like, I need to write some of this stuff down. Like, there's all these life lessons. Is that why you like it?
Yeah, and well, for a variety of reasons is why I love it. For one, I don't think, or I can't say that because I haven't seen a ton of movies or whatever. Yeah, I get a lot of crap in the office
Yeah.
because they'll say
We're going to
something.
start a movie club
I
because
know,
of you.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Nope, never seen it, and everybody's just like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know what I'm missing, but
Yeah.
anyways, I don't think that there's movies made nowadays that give you so much like thought to do. It's super thought provoking, and it's just a movie that is just so interesting because it like has this different, it shines like a different light on how you should view the world or view things that are around you.
Mhm.
And I just love that. I 100% love that. And maybe that's because like I'm trying to go against the grain, to in a certain respect when it comes to like living my day-to-day life or just being the person that I am, with the goofy sayings or smiling too much or whatever the case is. It's just like I want to be someone that's actually memorable. And
Mhm.
yeah, so
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons why I love it. But yeah, and it has so much good, like, yeah, like you said, thoughts and things to look at and remember and think
Mhm.
about. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so I picked one lesson to
Okay.
talk about, and I hope that you keep coming on and we can talk about a different lesson every time.
Yeah.
So the lesson I picked was we're conditioned to see what we expect, not necessarily what's really there. And we miss so much in life because we're stuck in old patterns
Uh-huh.
of perception. So the character Ray says in it, experience has conditioned you into thinking that all hearts are red and all spades are black because their shapes are similar. It's easy for your mind to interpret them based off of the past experience instead of being open to the idea that they could be different. So, like, yeah, that hit me of like, yeah, our brains are lazy. They're trying to take shortcuts. And that makes sense for like survival. Like,
Uh-huh.
let's just like not think about that. Let's take the shortcut. Let's, out of the corner of the eye, see the buffalo running past, or whatever. But like, we aren't in survival mode anymore.
Yeah.
So we have to change how we look at things and perceive things and really take a different look. And so that's why I like those magic tricks or different things that show you like your brain is messing with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the most relatable like version for people that are listening if they haven't seen the movie is, let's say that your significant other, your sibling, whomever wants to buy a new vehicle and
Mm.
you go with them and it's like, I've never seen this color or this. Then they buy it and then all of a sudden you see 15 of them
Yes.
on the way home, and it just opens your mind up because now you're actually looking for that
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
model look, whatever the
Yeah.
case is. And then all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, I've been
They're
missing this the
everywhere.
entire time. And
Yeah.
the other thing that like I like to pay attention to is when you're driving, instead of just paying attention to the road, you need to pay attention to the landscape
Mm.
because sometimes there can be like a ginormous hill or there's a cell phone tower that you've never noticed and you've driven the road like 50,000
Mhm.
times. It's like, that was there the whole time. Well, yeah, they didn't
Mhm.
build it yesterday. I mean,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm horrible at that, like paying attention to my surroundings always. I've always been bad at that. So, yeah, definitely something I need to work on. But like that exact circumstance, we started a trucking business and I started dispatching semi trucks.
Yep.
And then I was like, I would drive places and I'd be like, oh my God, I saw like 15 semis a day. Like, I don't remember ever seeing a semi before, but like they're
Yeah.
everywhere. I'm like, everywhere I look is a semi. Yeah, obviously, like they're
Uh-huh.
all over the roads, but I had never paid attention to them before.
Yeah. Yeah, and then maybe that also falls into the space where it's like, trying to be mindful when you go to these large events like the state fair and
Mm,
trying to find someone that you actually
mm-hmm,
know because
mm-hmm,
you're consciously looking for it.
mm-hmm,
And, if you aren't, you're gonna probably brush shoulders with them and say, "Oh, sorry,"
mm-hmm,
and then move
mm-hmm,
on your way. And
mm-hmm.
that was somebody you actually knew.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
It's so Matrixy. Have you seen
I
Matrix?
have not.
Ugh.
No, sorry.
Well, there's four, but the fourth one, I mean, is really, really new. You really like the three are combined, and
Okay.
then the fourth one you can watch
Okay.
later. But will you? Will
Yeah.
you watch?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because you just watched Interstellar and you said that, like,
Yeah, it definitely messed with
yeah.
my mind or whatever.
Matrix will too.
Yeah,
But I hope that you do watch because it's so good.
yeah,
And we can talk about that next time.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you want to share or talk about?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Definitely want to shout out Interstate 60 because everybody listening needs to watch it. It's a very, very underrated movie.
But there's a lot of great people in it, like a lot of
Yeah.
people that you see in other stuff.
Yeah, Chris Pine, I think, is who plays the main character.
Well, James Marsden
Okay.
is the dark-haired main guy. Yeah.
We'll have Veda fact check that. I thought it was Chris Pine, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. We'll pause here.
James Marsden.
Oh, dang nabbit, yeah.
But what's the one guy is from what's the past movie? What's a time machine movie? The
Michael
famous.
Fox.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's the movie Michael Fox's
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
What's the doctor's name in it? I wasn't a big Back to the Future person, so sorry everybody's gonna be mad, but
I've never seen it either, so.
yeah. But the doctor in it is also in this movie.
Christopher Lloyd. Oh, Gary Oldman.
No, Gary Oldman's a famous actor too, but
Kurt Russell.
no, that's a famous actor too, but the dot guy. He's like the weird guy, you know, that like shows up. He's kind of like a genie or something.
Yeah.
Isn't there
Yeah.
a character like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, Doc Brown.
Doc Brown. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, don't get too mad at us. Yeah. People will be mad we're not Back to Future people, but
Yeah, I just feel super fortunate that you had me on or whatever, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that positivity is something that is what do you call it?
contagious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and smiling, I think, is too. I'm not 100% sure. There's a few people that I haven't got to smile yet, but I'm still working on them. But
I've heard that, yeah, like if you walk into a room and you see somebody smile, like you can't help but smile. It's like a human instinct that no matter what. So, you know, and then they'll change their face. I don't want to smile at you. I don't like you, you know. But like I've kind of tested it out and just smiled at people that I know don't like me when they're coming towards me, and they will, because it's, I think a real instinct that nobody can fight against.
yeah,
So then it's like, not to be cocky, but like, haha, made you smile. But yeah, no, I think that your contagious smile has already been great around work, or,
good.
you know, helped everybody
good.
look at themselves in the mirror and be like, yeah, I can be chippier in the morning.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things. Like I said, it's just fun to have fun at work as well, or act like you actually want to be here. You know, because
Well, then you're going to trick yourself too. If like
Exactly.
you don't want to be here, who was I just talking about that with? Like if you tell somebody, if you say, hey, you don't look like you're feeling well today, like the stats are huge that they're going to go home sick because they're going to be like, yeah, maybe I don't feel good today.
no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
also, I mean, yeah, it was somebody I was talking about placebo with last night, and I had listened to something one time that even said, if you give some teachers two groups of kids and you say, this group of kids isn't as smart as this group of kids excels. But the secret part is that they're both the same.
Okay.
They will work with them, blah, 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 and then the tests come back, and the kids the group that they said wasn't as smart will have horrible scores compared to the others, because the way that they're teaching them, and because they think they're going to do bad, they're like putting that out there and helping reinforce that.
That's crazy.
So the power of your thoughts
yeah,
is so huge.
It is. Yeah. And I don't know, it's just, you know, kind of being mindful of, you know, what you want yourself to be in the future or whatnot and stuff. It's like, you know, if you think to yourself, well, why did that person have a bad reaction to what I had to say? You know, just make sure you reflect on that. And yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes authenticity confuses me, because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm authentic today, like I'm not really a great person. You know what I mean? Like authentically, like true to myself, like I'm not, like I'm just going to be crabby.
Okay.
You know, so like how do you...
Yeah, but then to the other effect, it's like, well, you're trying to be the person you want to
Mm.
be. So
Mhm.
then that's
Mhm.
authentically you're trying. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, you're
I
not
like that.
faking it. You're trying. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you're just conscious maybe of the energy you're putting out there.
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, we missed the part where I was going to ask you what you believe spiritually.
Okay.
I don't know if I missed a whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So definitely Christian, grew up in the church and whatnot. Sunday, went to Sunday school and church and youth group and all of that and stuff. And as I've aged, I've started to like shy away from it or whatever. Not necessarily because I don't believe in God or my beliefs have per se changed. It's just the structure of it to me doesn't always make 100% sense. Because you'll run into people that on Sunday morning, they are one person, but then you saw them the night before and they're completely different. And not to say that that's, across the board or, one specific place or, some specific people. It's just like, it seems like you always run into that. And I guess for myself, I've just been trying to become a person that is the same no matter when you see me. And yeah, I think that that's just kind of changed the way that I view my belief in the fact that I don't necessarily think I have to be an attendee every single weekend.
mhm.
Because I think that, there's fellowship or, discussion on beliefs and whatnot that can happen outside of it that actually hold more merit than they do once a week, on a Sunday morning or whatever. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I feel super fortunate that, my parents, pushed me to go to church and took me and I was able to meet a ton of good people and stuff. And I think that it's like I kind of have to fall into the right place if I want to get that generalized structure of church back
Mm.
into my life or whatever. But yeah.
I can totally relate to that, but like, because I'm reading all these different books besides the Bible, but are about the Bible or relate to it, and like the parables, I'm like, oh, I get that parable now. But like, why didn't they teach me that
Yeah.
view in church and in Sunday school? Because like now I get it. Now it makes sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's almost like they highlight certain parts and then kind of disregard others. You can run
Mm-hmm.
into that or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Or I'm
Um
like, all these people that were teaching me this stuff, I don't even think they got it. I think they were just like following protocol and following the curriculum. But like,
yeah.
I feel, and maybe that's judgy and egotistical, but I'm like, I think I get it more than they get it.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
get more about the devil and like what he actually represents because I don't personally believe in hell. I think there's hell on earth, like that you can be in when you are super negative and treat people badly and
Yeah.
treat yourself badly. And I think the devil represents so much now that I could never see before.
Yeah. And I think that there's a reason they call it Sunday school, because there is a curriculum or there is like a way to go about it. And
Hmm.
that to me I don't really like because it's like what about all these questions that people have that never end up getting answered,
Hmm.
and I was fortunate enough that in my youth group, we had like different leaders that we could ask those questions, and they would actually do the research or try and find out different things because it's like, yeah, I mean, you guys, you want answers obviously,
Hmm.
so let's look into it, and yeah, I don't know. I think that being in farming and nature and just a observant person, you can see like the work of God or the hand of God in everything. And there's so many things that ring true, and I'd love to argue with just about anybody or whatever, because it's like, for example, I had this discussion with my dad a while back where it's like dirt, so there's like, gravel, sandstone, all of that different stuff. Shoot, every beach you go to has like a different shade of sand. And it's like, the stuff that 99% of the time is either covered up with grass or vegetation or asphalt or concrete has uniqueness to it. Don't you think? I mean,
Mhm.
as a
Mhm.
human, I slack where I can. Don't you think God would have just kind of took a day off and just be like, we got gray dirt and we got black dirt, you know? It's like, just call it good, you know? But it's like, you walk around, you find an agate, and it's so unique and so cool.
Mhm.
And it's like, he specifically made this so that we could be in awe of it, you know?
Mhm.
And I don't know, I try to find instances in my life that are like that, where it's just like, holy smokes,
Mhm.
this is super cool, super awesome, and I think it's proof, that there is a God and whatnot, and yeah, I don't know, I just feel super fortunate to live this life. So
Yeah, and you watch those deep sea videos of all these fish and creatures down there
yeah,
that like God didn't know if we would ever even see,
yeah,
or I mean, I guess He probably knew, but
yeah,
wasn't really intended for us to see. And there, those things down there are
uh
wild,
huh,
and the wildest colors,
absolutely,
wildest shapes,
yeah,
made out of the weirdest things.
yeah,
And yeah, so that's kind of like the dirt and everything. And it seems like, yeah, like in church, the curriculum, or Sunday school, the curriculum, I don't think they taught us enough about feeling. It was just about learning.
uh huh,
But like, what about the feeling that you get with God? What if we would have like sat still for 2 minutes and in Sunday school and said, okay, can you feel God? And I think because you're feeling God so much out farming with the
yeah,
nature and
yeah,
the animals.
exactly. And then I think that it's something that I'm not going to say I was taught, but the way that I started to understand was, if there's something that I want, I need to pray for that.
Mm.
And then if there's something that I don't want, don't pray for it or whatever. And then hopefully it doesn't come true. But then you get these like wishful moments where all of a sudden it's like, I would give anything if you can, get me into this college or do this or do that and stuff. And then you pray super hard for it, and then sometimes it doesn't happen, but that's for a reason, because something better could come along, or that's not the path you were intended to go down and stuff. But it's like I started to struggle with that, because then all of a sudden it was like I was just pouring my heart and soul into certain aspects that weren't actually going to come. And then so then I've just tried to make it a habit where it's like I'm just so appreciative. So then, like, the prayers that I do make are just appreciation prayers. Thank you for letting me be able to do this and have this and whatnot or whatever. Because I just want to show respect. Because I mean, I am blessed, and I know that for a fact. And I want to make sure that he knows that I feel that way as well. So
And when you're constantly appreciative for things, there's no room to be whiny about things.
yeah,
It's kind of like, I loved the saying I heard a long time ago that there's no time to hate somebody if you're praying for them. If you hate somebody, pray for them. Like how can you hate somebody that you pray for?
yeah,
How can you be whiny about things if you're appreciative?
yeah,
And then and I think that's a way of letting God, like, no, I'll go wherever you lead me and I'll
uh-huh,
trust you. And then we get to let go of all of those extra thoughts and decisions we have to make because we can trust that everything's in His hands.
yeah, yeah. And it's there's so many like different sayings, or old wives tales or whatever the case is, and it's like, oh, I wanted that to happen so bad, but then there's some,
Mm.
I heard it once where it was like, what you pray for, or if what you prayed for could be so good, what are the things, or there's things out there that you can't imagine how amazing they are for you, because
Hmm.
your mind can't even go that far.
Hmm.
So it's like, just always being mindful that it's like, although in the moment I really wanted this, sometimes it might be for the greater good that you didn't get it, or it's coming in the future or something.
Hmm.
It's just that never ending like optimism, that it's like, although this didn't happen, I am bummed about it, I'm just bound and determined that there's something better out there for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was listening to a podcast today where the question to the guest was, if you could put something on a billboard, what would you put? And he said something like, be skeptical of what you want.
Okay.
And I like that on so many levels because
Yeah.
who knows
Yeah.
if you actually want that.
Yeah.
And like God might have something way better for
Exactly.
you if you're just open.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because he's the master creator. Like we don't even come close.
Yep. Yep. And like an instance that is like fairly recent is my wife and I had two dogs, and one of them we had to put down a few years ago, and then the other one we had to put down like this February, and it was basically our child, just loved him to death, and he was gonna be 5, so he was still a super young dog and whatnot and stuff, but it's like it made me appreciate how finite things are, and
The gods envy us
yeah,
because we're not
yeah,
here forever.
exactly. And it was kind of funny because like I said, I really don't have many friends, or my wife and I don't really go out too often and whatnot, and there'd be a lot of like Friday nights that we would just spend hanging out, just the three of us and whatnot, and it's like I'm so appreciative to have those moments with him, because obviously I can't do that now, so it's like all the different people saying, oh, come out, do this, or whatever the case is. It's like I'm just so glad that we didn't listen or fall into the pressure of going out and doing this and that, because it's like, yeah, just the time that we got to spend with them was so limited, and it felt so good. But yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you came into Sherman's life
Yeah.
and my life, Ryan. It's been
Oh, thank you.
a
Yeah.
big blessing.
Yeah, thank you. No, I am too. Like, this has just been, the best move of my life. So yeah, I'm very thankful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
can't wait for you to come back on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Beth.